The list of Manchester United injured players is bulging up day in, day out, and the latest is Antony, who is injured, and Ten Hag has really gone ahead to really speak about the type of injury that this young man is really having at the moment. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Now today is really a very good day here onto the United Matters channel, and I hope you guys are really having a very fantastic time and fantastic moments as it stands right now, because it's you that really make us who we are. That's it, and thank you for watching in through. Then he has also hinted about Sancho and how he could come in through and obviously start in the game of United versus Leeds. Then Anthony Martial's injury and how he has gotten a different injury altogether, from the back injury to the ankle injury to the hamstring, knee, and now this time around is a different injury altogether. That's what we're going to discuss about in here onto the United Matters channel. So guys, thank you, and always keep it United Matters channel, and let's set this rolling as Fati Carrasco is also into the mix, told to us by Fabrizio Romano in there for you, and then Ansu Fati, surprisingly linked to Manchester United, and guess who is really talking about it? It's a man called Fabrizio Romano. So it's really going to be a highly packed video that is really going to be so good to do the needful and always want to really watch it in. So let's start off with a story that Ten Hag told us during what we call the press conference, and he told us that Eric Ten Hag confirms Antony Martial, and Scott McTominay will all miss the Leeds game through injury. That's Samuel Lucas coming in through and confirming to us that this player is really going to miss out of injury. Very much bad, but we have nothing to do. He has really gone ahead to really add himself onto the sick bay of Manchester United that is having Eriksen, Donny van de Beek, Antony Martial, Scott McTominay. Who else is injured? Dallo is back. So we are having close to 5 or 6 players that are really injured, and it shows you how the season is really getting worse and worse and worse, because the more you get more injuries, that means you are exposing the players available to more games, yet your squad is really shortening. It's really not a thick one. It's really trying to shorten and obviously look like something that you wouldn't love to be having at this juncture, because we are playing 2 games per week until March. So today is 8th. That means we are still going to play such games until when? Until we are still going to play games like this until when? Until March. So it shows you that we might be having some more 6 games to go, because this week today we are playing Leeds home. On Sunday we are playing them away. Thursday we are playing Barcelona next week. Then we play Leicester City. After playing Leicester City, we host Barcelona at Old Trafford. Then we play the Carabao Cup final on the 26th. So it shows you how thick and fast these fixtures are really coming in through, and you wouldn't love to be having such fixtures with your players getting injured as they are right now at the club of Manchester United. So we need to find ourselves a solution. We need to find ourselves a solution that will really get us out of this condition, because it doesn't look rosy at all. Then Ten Hag has gone ahead and really spoken. Sorry, this is Jonathan Shelja, has told us what is really happening with Antony and his injury. So that's that Antony has a slight muscular issue in back of his thigh, but it is not considered serious. There is a good chance of being available for Sunday. Obviously, if he's available for Sunday, then that will be a very huge boost for Manchester United, because you don't need to be having a player like him injured. That is the last thing you would love to see. A player who has been fighting to see to it that he really reaches his levels of fitness and obviously play for the club like Manchester United. Because in the recent games, you've seen Antony trying and fighting to put himself in in a region of really being good and obviously playing well for the club of Manchester United. So that shows you that he is really one of those that we should pray in for to come in through and obviously do the needful for the club of Manchester United. So even Ten Hag, the manager, has really spoken about the injury of this 21-year-old Brazilian international that is trying to cope up with life at Old Trafford. And this is what he said: "I don't know how long he will be out. I don't think it's a long time, but we have to see how it develops in the coming days. It is in his leg, but I can't specify as we don't understand that." So Ten Hag is trying to be in unison with Jonathan Schreger, who told us that he's expected to return on Sunday. But I believe hurrying him back on Sunday shouldn't be an option. However much we would be happy to welcome him back on Sunday, but there are players that can play into that position, like Jadon Sancho. Sancho can play into that position very, very well. The right wing, he can play there very, very well. And I believe you can even get Bruno, spread him wide, but the problem is we're not having enough central attack midfielders. But we saw in the game of Nottingham when Sancho was played as a central attack midfielder and Bruno was played as a right attacking midfielder, meaning that even that option is there, Bruno to play wide and Sancho to play centrally. So let's wait and see what the manager is going to do. But good thing to see it is that even the manager is telling us that he thinks it's not going to take him long. So that is what Erik Ten Hag has really come out and really told us about the injury of Sancho, Antony, a player that we bought 100 million euros from Ajax. That's it. Now, let's talk about Sancho, a player that may be starting tomorrow or today against a side called Leeds. Ten Hag said Sancho is good. We saw last week that he came in and he did really very well. It was also a pity and was one of the consequences of sending off Casemiro that he couldn't bring him on. So that I couldn't bring him on, meaning that it was in the manager of the plan. It was the plan of the manager to bring on Jadon Sancho in the game of Crystal Palace. And obviously you got to see that a lot changed. A lot changed when Casemiro was sent off. Garnacho, who was substituted and really had brought another vibe to the game, was taken off, and then Harry Maguire and Lindelof came in for him and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So it shows you that the plan totally changed as it had been drawn by the manager. At 2-0, you would have brought in Sancho, Sabitzer, and other players to come in and do the needful, because already one had already been brought on, that is Alejandro Garnacho. So it shows you how important we need to keep ourselves not really losing such games of football. Losing players with red cards, especially Casemiro, a senior player like him. I believe it's time he got to know that everything can be really done and put into the better ways by really not giving a referee a chance to send you off the field of play. But good to see that Sancho is here, and that means he is really sharp to come in and play. And I believe Ten Hag is really going to model him into a player that we saw him way back at a side called Borussia Dortmund, because if Ten Hag can go ahead and really mold around and polish the dirt on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, what of a player called Sancho, who is really a real Erik Ten Hag player, technically gifted, swift foot, good pass of the ball, acts in tight spaces. He's industrious in tight spaces. His pass progression is out of this world, and his threat when he's really playing against these opponents that we play against is really out of this world. So I believe we are really destined to a very good player as he returns, that is Jadon Sancho. After Jadon Sancho, Ten Hag really talked a little bit about Antoine Martial and his injury problems that are really eating him up this season. He said, when asked whether it's a recurring injury or it's a different injury, he said, no, Martial's injury is not a reoccurring injury. Every time it is a different area. At the moment, it is his hip. Now, I've always come out publicly and showed my love for Antony Martial. I love the player, talented, but when you reach this level, when you've always called for being the main man, the manager has granted you that position of being the main man, and you're always injured. I think this is the sixth injury he got, because the first injury he got, it was in the last preseason game we played away at with Atletico Madrid in Oslo. I think that was a hamstring. He returns at the game of Liverpool, he plays, then he gets, was it an ankle injury? After playing the game of Liverpool, we expected him to play in the game of Southampton. He was out. That means he had really got another different injury. After that game of Liverpool, he returned and he played against Omonia Man City. Then he got a setback. After that, he returned and played in the Aston Villa game, and he scored. He even played part in the... Oh, there is when he returned. I think when he returned and played the game of Omonia, he came in, played 29 minutes in the game of Aston Villa. In the game of Everton, he created an assist for Antony. 29 minutes was off because he was having a problem in his back. And he returned after that. He returned when you're playing Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. He scored. Then he has been playing ever since then, until when he got an injury that will rule him from the game of Charlton, then returned to the game of Man City that he had himself, and after that he returned in the game of Nottingham. And it's really weird. The player has gone ahead to miss 20 games of Manchester United. I think he has played only 14 games of Manchester United because we played 34 games this season so far. So he has missed 20. There is no way you can rely onto him, and I believe if he's really getting different injuries, then his body is really up for some things that need to be really resolved by, I don't know by who, which doctor is going to treat Antony Martial to find him fully fit. But the guy is really good, talented, but you can't rely on him. Ten Hag said Antony Martial, I think, is the player who spends the most hours at Carrington this season to recover, to get back. It's really such a pity for him, and as he's disappointed and he's not always available like we want him to be. Obviously, he can't be disappointed because at this juncture, this is where you ask yourself, what should I do? What should I do? How should I manage my body better to see to it that I'm always available and always not away? So that is another huge task for Antony Martial on what he should be doing to see to it that he really keeps fit, as we always need him to be available at the club of Manchester United. So that is Antony Martial and what he's really telling us about his injuries, and it's really bad for him because he deserves to be here and to be fully fit as a player of Manchester United. And then the manager went ahead to tell us a little bit about Antony Martial, that he's not always available. I see the other side of when he's available, and he was never 100% fit this season, but he has a big impact every time he's available. And even when he's at 80%, 85%, 90% fit, United are really playing as a better team. That is something that Ten Hag is going to hate to emphasize always. And he's true about it. Whenever Martial is available, we play better as he leads the line for Manchester United. So that's it for Antony Martial, and the manager is going to have to emphasize that he is not available again. So it shows you that maybe his days at Manchester United are really coming to an end. Now, let's go to the transfer news. Yannick Carrasco, a player that we are linked with at the end of the January transfer window. We've been told by Fabrizio Romano that this 29-year-old player is being looked at by Manchester United, and it's not only Manchester United that are really looking at him. Even Tottenham Hotspur are tracking Yannick Carrasco's situation in the event that Barcelona do not activate his signing, which is around 20 million euros. And when you look at how Yannick Carrasco really plays, he can play as a right winger and a right back. But I see no reason as to why you're getting in him. Why should we get him in? Because Greenwood, if at all everything goes on well, he might return, though large parts of the contours are showing that he's not going to be accepted back at Manchester United. Then Amad Diallo, look at how he's tearing up the championship. I think in the summer, he's really going to be one of those players that Ten Hag is going to be keeping a very huge eye on to go on and really get the job done and dusted. Look at Facundo Pelestri, a player that has a low center of gravity, but with a high technique and high football intelligence level. That means you don't need a player like Yannick Carrasco. And however much Fabrizio Romano is talking about it, I don't see Yannick Carrasco coming to Manchester United. We are having Bissaka, you are having Dallo. Why would you, for God's sake, go in for Yannick Carrasco? So for that, I'm just waiting to see how Yannick Carrasco comes in at Manchester United, because I'm not 100% convinced by his coming. So let's wait and see how that is going to go on and really find itself in acceptance, but I'm not accepting it. The other story that Fabrizio told us about is Ansu Fati, and he confirmed to us that Manchester United and Ansu Fati's agent, Jorge Mendes, have a great relationship. However, there has not been any direct contact between Manchester United and Fati or Barcelona. Then after saying that, he told us the following, that Ansu Fati's situation this summer will be one to watch. Many English clubs have always been interested in signing him, including Manchester United, who appreciate him a lot. So, are we really eyeing this player known as Ansu Fati? That is one of the questions we should ask ourselves, that are we really interested in Ansu Fati? Because being interested in Ansu Fati just puts us into a situation of not appreciating the likes of Garnacho, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. We are having Jadon Sancho, who can play well onto the left attacking side of the midfield, and he can play well again onto the right attacking side of the midfield. So I don't see any reason as to why you're bringing in a player called Ansu Fati, because all the positions that he plays into are really covered. If at all he could lead the line as a central striker, I would have said, all right, he deserves a chance to come at Manchester United, but I see no reason as to why we should bring in a player like him at Old Trafford, because I think he's undeservedly required at Manchester United. It's surplus requirement. Very many players that are really available, and the the price on his signature would be really immensely hefty. So, thank you guys for watching in through. I think we call it a day for now. Let's see how it's going to unveil tomorrow. But tell me your thoughts about Antony injury blow, Yannick Carrasco to Manchester United, and Ansu Fati, also United keeping tabs onto Ansu Fati. But however much Fabrizio is talking about Ansu Fati to Manchester United, I'm not convinced internally, because his positions are really fully packed. On the left where he plays, we're having Marcus Rashford, we are having Garnacho, Sancho, even Antony Martial can play better that side. There is Anthony Elanga, there is Facundo Pelestri, he can also play that side. So I don't see anywhere this player coming close to Manchester United, and United spending money on signing a player like him. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through. Rokan David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. May the Lord bless you abundantly. I sign out for now. Bye bye and good night.